Whoa, 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 whoa. Isn't it another great Monday? Anytime I get to spend it with all of you beautiful people out there. Welcome back to another episode of Spin Cycle Live. I am your host, Nathan Hale. It is a great day to be an American. Let me tell you, so many great things have been happening in the United States ever since Donald Trump's inauguration, and we will be discussing some of them today. But first, how are you all doing today? You having a great day? I hope you are having a wonderful Monday. First Monday of February, first show of February 2025. How great is that, right? We have so many great things in the pipeline coming up. You will not want to miss it. Make sure you stick around. Follow this channel on Rumble. Follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, on X, on YouTube, all the platforms. Give me a subscribe. Give me some likes. Throw them all out there, right? Let everyone know how great it is, how great the show is, how much you love me, right? You know, it is always great when I get to spend my time talking, yapping my mouth off with all of you amazing people. You know, something I've been thinking about a lot recently is the way that Congress has really been sitting on their hands when it's come to confirming RFK and Tulsi. You know, I've heard news that they will get out of committee on Tuesday. We'll see when the actual confirmation vote happens, possibly as soon as Wednesday. Who knows? We may be reporting here on Wednesday when we're back live again at this very same time that RFK has been confirmed as our new Secretary of Health and Human Services. Wouldn't that be wonderful news, right? But we don't have that news yet. You have no idea how often I've been looking at my phone, wanting to know when these people are finally getting in. One of the reasons why I voted for Donald Trump was specifically because they had RFK and Tulsi in the campaign that were going to be a part of the administration. And there's going to be a lot of middle of the road conservatives out there who lean, maybe slightly left, who are like, yeah, man, I'm really pissed off at Congress right now and the Republicans for dangling this carrot in front of me and saying, nope, right? And, I don't have a formal, this is more of a tangent before we get into the actual stories, but I don't have anything formal to kind of cover right now on all the confirmation hearings and stuff. But I find it interesting that, we have Democrats standing in the way of Republicans simply because they're ideologically different than them. It is not the Democrat or the Republicans' place, for that matter, right, to say if they think they will be good at their job, right? They just have to confirm to the American public that these are the minimum, that they possess the minimum requirements available to do this job, right? Donald Trump already won the presidency, right? It is their job to give him the team of people which he thinks will best execute his agenda, the agenda that the American people voted for, and that is RFK and Tulsi Gabbard. But I digress. We have our first story of the week, and I like to start off the shows. Let's start them up a little light. Let's get right into it. So, the Grammys just happened, and what an event the Grammys were. Did anyone watch the Grammys this year? I didn't even look at how many people actually had all that on. I've stopped watching award shows. I just like to see the fallout that happens afterwards of all the BS and ridiculousness that the celebrities say. I stopped watching award shows after they stopped letting Ricky Gervais do them, because when he did the Golden Globes a couple years ago, that was like the best award show ever. And anything after that was like, nope, I'm good. So Lady Gaga, or as I call her, Lady Gaga, shares support for trans community during the 2025 Grammy win with Bruno Mars. Right off the bat, headline, not super crazy, but let's scroll down. Let's scroll and see what she actually said. So she said, quote, "It is a privilege to be a songwriter, a producer, and a musician. It's such an honor to sing for all of you. I just want to say tonight that trans people are not invisible. Trans people deserve love. The queer community deserves to be lifted up. Music is love. Thank you." Music is love, but to say the trans community is not invisible, the trans community is a little bit too visible, if you ask me. Like, if I look at a crowd of people, right, and there's one trans person in that crowd out of like 100, I can spot them immediately. They're like too visible, right? They're not invisible whatsoever. Invisible is not an adjective that I would use to describe the trans community. I just had to get it off my chest. I thought that was a funny little headline there, and I wanted to talk about it for a second. So that was a throwaway story. Just time for me. Let's loosen up a little bit. Get me going a little bit. Gets me a little bit more in the groove, right? So all right, so let's talk about Taiwan. So this comes from Newsmax. So Taiwan helps companies relocate to U.S. after tariffs. So Taiwan will support firms that intend to relocate to the United States, including helping them find partners on the ground. The economy minister said on Monday, outlining assistance it will offer after President Trump's tariffs. So there have been tariffs placed on a whole bunch of different countries: China, Canada, Mexico. We'll talk about those in a minute, right? And those are going to affect tonight, right? Taiwan saying, "Hey, we're going to help these companies move into the United States because they're going to get their products tariffed, right? And then the price of it for Americans is going to go way up. It's going to cause a huge surge in people not buying their products because people don't have the money to pay the extra money for them, right? Or their profits are going to go down, right? One or the other." And I'm not the biggest fan of tariffs when it comes to actually impacting our economy. I prefer tariffs when they're used as weapons, like they were used against Mexico. Just recently, we found out that the United States is pulling back on that tariff because Mexico's agreed to protect the border a little bit more, right? So Trump's orders for additional levies of 25% on imports from Mexico and most goods from Canada, as well as 10% on goods from China, were light on Hale, but they did kick in on Tuesday. But they kick in on Tuesday and have joint markets of investors, and have jointed markets as investors feared a broader trade war could surely hurt global growth. So, Taiwan, whose companies are key producers of tech products like semiconductors and electronic parts, are valuable given that many have factories in Mexico and in China, and because Trump has also threatened tariffs on imported chips. This is a big deal. Getting more American chip manufacturers getting more chip manufacturers in the United States is really going to help our economy long term, because right now, China, right, all that whole region in Asia really has the monopoly on semiconductor parts, on chips and everything, and that could be a really big deal if anything, right, where all of a sudden China just cuts that supply off to us, right? We want to be as indefensible of a country so that when conflicts break out, our people are not affected and we have the upper hand in all that, right? If I was to give that sort of power, if I was to give the global chip supply power to one person, China or the United States, I'd rather go to the United States, even under the worst of our leaders, right? I would still rather that be in our hands and for our people versus anyone else, because ultimately, when it comes down to it, I believe that America, no matter what, will play more fair in the world than, say, a country like China would, right? So, good job for Taiwan. Move them over to the United States. We'll welcome those new companies in. We got plenty of people ready to work. Put them to work, right? Start making chips. All right, so let's talk more about tariffs. So this comes from Financial Post. Car prices face $3,000 increase as tariffs hit auto sector. So tariffs will add $60 billion in cost to the industry. The United States President Donald Trump's tariffs against Canada and Mexico will threaten production at automakers across North America and send record vehicle prices even higher, with about $250 billion in trade set to be disrupted. Trump on Saturday followed through on his warning to impose a 25% tariff on imports from those two countries, blaming the flow of migrants and drugs over the southern border, as well as large trade deficits for the move. Barring a surprise, the tariffs are set to take effect at 12:01 a.m. on Tuesday, giving manufacturers less than 48 hours to figure out what the hell they're going to do, right? Mexico won a temporary reprieve as of Monday morning, a little over 12 hours before the tariffs were due to start. Both Trump and the Mexican president said that the planned duties would be paused for a month after the president of Mexico agreed to reinforce the border between the neighbors with Mexican soldiers. There you go, just what I was saying just a minute ago. The duties would immediately hit almost 1/4 of the 16 million vehicles that are sold in the US each year, as well as the parts and components that go into them. An import market that totaled $225 billion in 2024, according to research from automotive consultant, whatever it is. Tariffs will add $60 billion in costs in the industry, the research shows, much which will likely pass to the consumers. Now, like I said, I'm not against using tariffs as weapons, but I see stuff like this and I feel a deep concern over the American economy and how that price is going to be actually pushed on to consumers. Because Republicans ran in 2024 on lowering prices for everyday Americans, right? Especially prices on eggs. That was a huge part of that campaign. And I'm sure that there's a bigger picture here that we're not seeing through the media yet, and that I'm not smart enough to know off the top of my head because I'm not an economist who is familiar with exactly how these tariffs are going into place. But I hope that in the long run, at least by the time we get to 2026, by the time those midterms happen, we have solid results on how all the stuff that Trump and Republicans have done has impacted the economy, so we don't get our asses handed to us in 2 years, right? That's my fear, right? I want good things happening so we keep winning elections. We won one election and we cannot get too comfortable in our spots, right? We have to be on our offense, okay? All right, so let's talk about the border now. We just talked about Mexico closing down their border, right, with some soldiers. Let's hear about how our side of it's doing. So Tom Homan reveals staggering drop in illegal border crossings. So this comes from Daily Wire. So border czar Tom Homan announced over the weekend that the Trump administration has seen a dramatic drop off in illegal border crossings since taking over and telling the world that the border is closed. We've got the numbers this morning. The crossings on the border are down 93%, Homan said. That's a bigger decrease than under the first Trump administration. That's great. 93%. Are you kidding me? Right? That's great. That's great. Illegal border crossings should be at 0%, as far as I'm concerned. That's perfect. 0%. Let's get to 0%. 93 is pretty darn close, if I do say so myself. But let's keep doing what you're doing, guys. Let's get it down to 0. I don't want to see anyone coming into our country undocumented. We have to know these people are vetted to be running around our country, right? So good on Tom Homan. He's getting the job done. Let's hope that continues in the right direction with all that, and we see more from this. So like I said, we'll be sure to keep you updated on tariffs. We'll be sure to keep you updated on all of this as that news becomes available. But more on immigration. So there's another Newsmax story. So report ICE releases some arrested migrants back into the U.S. Okay, so I saw this. I was like, why are they releasing migrants back in the U.S.? So let's read on. So some immigrants arrested last week have been released back into the U.S. on a monitoring program due to space constraints and court orders, reported NBC News. The report comes as President Donald Trump is set to test the limits on his immigration crackdown by invoking a wartime law to deport immigrants alleged to be gang members without court hearings, a broad authority that could supercharge his and potentially sweep in people not charged with crimes. Trump, during his campaign, promised to deport millions of immigrants in the U.S. illegally. Last week, immigrants and customs enforcement stepped up arrests, picking up about 1,000 people per day. Some were sent back to their countries. So ICE monitors their whereabouts by ankle monitors or wristbands or through telephonic check-ins. So I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that the people who are apprehending, we're keeping track of them at least, right? We at least know their location. They are on somewhat semi-house arrest, which does limit, it limits your liberty to an extent. So they know they're on our radar at least, right? They're not just sitting around. Okay. Find those planes. Figure out how to get them out of here. The United States got plenty of vehicles, plenty of planes. Ship them off, right? Get them out of our country. We don't want people here. If you break our laws, you should get sent back to your country of origin, right? So I can't say this is too much of a massive win for immigration right here. 93% drop in illegal border crossing. That's great. On top of it, we are sending back migrants. Just getting those crossings down is slowing the bleeding. Now we have to suture the wound up and start getting that out of our country, right? Start getting these people who are breaking our laws, who are criminals, who are crossing our borders illegally out, right? So we're on the right track here. Good job, once again to Tom Homan, to ICE, all the great people who are in that department, doing their jobs. Get them out of here. We got to get back to a point where we know who's in our country and who's not, right? We have to know, what their credentials are, why they're here, what they're doing here, right? So let's move on. We've been through. This is gonna be a quick show today, guys. We got a whole nother 12 minutes left of the show, man. I got 2 stories left. So let's get right into it. I thought I was going to cover up more time, but we're just rolling right through it. We're going to close off the show with a solid 30 minutes, right? Quick and easy show for this Monday, right? You people are busy, right? So, all right. So, Breitbart news. All right. So, Zelensky claims Ukraine received less than half of U.S. aid. Don't know where all that money went. Are you kidding me? Don't you remember all this money being sent off to Ukraine? Wasn't there allegations too that Zelensky was pocketing some of that money as well? Didn't the Pentagon just fail its 4th consecutive audit ever in a year, right, or something like that? Where's all this money going to, right? I've always wondered how does this work, right? When the U.S. is sending to another country, how does that actually happen? The United States purchase all that stuff and then they send it to Ukraine. Does Ukraine pick what they need and then it gets shipped in? How does that work exactly? Insides of the State Department that we probably won't ever know, but I'd love to hear about them. Let's read this story. All right. So, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, what a dirtbag, has said that his country has only received around $76 billion in aid from the United States, despite American authorizing around $175 billion to support the war-torn country. So, according to him, they were supposed to get $175 billion of your money, your taxpayer money that you worked hard to earn, and they've only gotten 76 billion of it, right? Of your money that you worked hard to get, and somehow half of that money has just disappeared, right? When I give someone money to go do something, right, for me, I expect them to bring me back a receipt for it, right? I don't give someone $20 to go to the store and they come back, with a lollipop and say, "Oh, I spent it all on this," right? I know I'm getting the wool pulled over my eyes, right? I know a lollipop's not $20, right? Where'd the rest of my money go? I don't know. Just disappeared. Up in the air, right? The fact that we do not have more government accountability when it comes to where our taxpayer money is going to is so criminal to me. In my opinion, as a taxpayer in the United States, I should be able to get online and see where my money, literally the money that I earned, that I paid in taxes, where did that go to? I should be able to see a line item of what they use that money on, where that money get dispersed to, right? That's what I want to. I want to know down to the cent where my taxpayer money is going to. I don't want to just pay it to the IRS and they take it from there, right? Tell me where my money is going to. Tell me what you're spending it on. I want to know. Right? Where did it go to? I want to know if my taxpayer money went to go to Ukraine or not, right? Where did my dollar that I earned directly end up, right? Where did my contributions, where did my stolen money go to? Did it go to this guy who, my question really is, did he get all the money? Did he get all the aid and he's just making a bigger story about it? Or did he not get the aid and the United States did something with it? Who's at fault here for losing all this money, right? So let's read on. So in an interview with the Associated Press published over the weekend, President Zelensky said he doesn't know where most of the money the United States allocated under the Biden administration to Ukraine has gone, right? But when it's said that Ukraine received $200 billion in support to army during the war, that's not true. I don't know where all that money went, Zelensky admitted. Quote, perhaps it's true in paper for hundreds of different programs, I won't argue, and we're immensely grateful for everything, but in reality, we've received about $76 billion. It's significant aid, but not $200 billion, okay? Like I said, my question is, what happened to that money? Where did it go to? Is it being pocketed by politicians? Is it being pocketed by people within the bureaucracy? Is it being sent to other countries that we don't even know about, right? To help with their aid, right? That was not in any of the legislation that Congress authorized. Where is this money going to? We need more accountability. I want to know all this stuff, right? The government should be the most transparent body out there. I should know everything that's happening within government aside from top national security concerns, right? But I know there's a war happening in Ukraine, right? I should know how much money went, when it was sent, who received it, what was purchased with it, and who it came from, right? I should know all of these things. And the fact that we don't have those systems in place is disgraceful. Shame on the Biden administration for losing this money. Shame on them for even sending that much money in the first place. Why are we sending billions of dollars to other countries who are having crises when we have crises in our own country? We have a homeless crisis. We have a housing crisis. We have a obesity crisis, right? We have so many crises happening. We have an open border that has been since closed, but has been open for years at this point, with criminals coming into our country. We have all of these crises happening in the United States, but yet we're sending all this money to Ukraine. I recognize this happened, a while ago, right? But still, it's worth repeating nonetheless, right? So last story of the day, something that I saw that I giggled out a little bit. So it's from the Hill. So restaurants in multiple cities are closing for one day to mark Day Without Immigrants. So if you are in a city right now, tell me, did you try and go get food at a restaurant day and was closed? Because this is happening today, apparently. This is the Monday, February 3rd. That's today, right? So restaurants in multiple cities are closing for one day to mark a Day Without Immigrants. It's Monday, February 3rd, will be closing in solidarity with the Day Without Immigrants protest. DC depends deeply on immigrants who work vital jobs in our local economy, pay taxes, and make the city a vibrant place to live. A post on Instagram by a Washington, D.C. restaurant, Republic Canteen, reads, "We've been dismayed to see the rollout of policies that tear immigrants from their homes, which is both inhumane and will cause massive harm to communities and to small businesses." So I like, okay, here's the last thing. A crackdown on immigrants is about people. So this is from Paul Krugman, who I guess is a Substack writer. And because it's about people, Trump's hostility to immigrants is likely to do far more damage, humanitarian and even economic, than his trade policy. So people, a couple of things. Number one, how stupid is closing down your business in protest of illegal immigrants, right? This isn't an attack on immigrants. This is an attack on people who are breaking our laws, right? If you're here illegally, who cares, right? My great grandparents were immigrants, right? I know many people who have immigrated in this country. I have friends who are first generation immigrants. They're here legally. This isn't a war on them. This is an attack on people who filled out their paperwork and have been vetted by our country. This is an attack on people who crossed our border illegally, brought in drugs, are involved in human trafficking, are committing crimes in our country, who came from other countries, the likes of which we don't even know about, who are taking refuge here just because they don't want to live in their own country, right? Because they want to get away with crimes in the United States, right? Many people who are here illegally in the United States vacation back to the countries that they say they're seeking refuge from, but yet they're here and they're going back to the countries that are apparently oppressing them, right? The other thing, we have 42 million Americans who are on food stamps, who are getting benefits for having low incomes. We have 7 million people who are unemployed in this country right now, right? Put them to work. These jobs, all of these jobs that are being taken away from the illegal immigrants, give them to these people. Get them working. Get them out there. Get them out there doing those jobs. I don't care what it is. Put them to work. We have Americans in our country, registered Americans, who are legally here in this country because they're citizens who don't have jobs, but yet the illegals have jobs, right? Put them to work. Get people to work. Get people off low-income assistance, right? Save the taxpayers some money, right? Get all this out there. But yet we are protesting over a day without immigrants. My God. The other thing, if these places were truly so, I don't know, friendly with the illegals in our country, why aren't they doing things to make them legal in our country? Why aren't we having a day for citizenship? Why aren't we having a day where restaurants are closing and they're opening up their doors and helping people become citizens, right? Why aren't we doing that? Why are we saying, oh, we're going to protest and scream and moan about what's happening right now in the United States, but we're not going to do anything about it. We're not doing anything to change it, right? We're just going to complain that, our friend is going to be shipped away back to, the country of origin, wherever they came from, right? We're not going to help him become a citizen, right? We'd rather see him get shipped back to wherever it is he came from instead of being here in America. So what does that truly say about the left for doing things like this, right? We should be helping these people become citizens. If you're here illegally, if you cross the border legally, that's a crime. And shame on you for doing so. But let's at least give you a chance to become a citizen, right? If you want to be, right? If you don't want to become a citizen, see ya, bye, get out of here. Don't need you. But help people become citizens. Because I resonate with the left when they say that many of these people are good people who are working honest jobs, who are trying to make their lives better for their families, right? I understand where people are coming from with that. But then help them become citizens. Don't say that these are such good people, but yet stand idly by while they get deported. Help them become citizens, right? That's what I would do if I was in a position of power like this, right? If I had a restaurant, I would close it down. I'd say, hey, anyone who's an illegal, come in here. We will help you start the citizenship process here in the United States, right? We'll get it done for you. But that's all, folks. That's all I gotta say today about the current state of affairs in the US. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Spin Cycle Live. I know that I did. Please come back on Wednesday. We will have another great episode for you then. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Enjoy the nice weather out. It is like a nice 70 degrees out here in Missouri right now in February, which is beautiful. Right? I wore this light jacket out. I didn't even need a winter coat, right? So enjoy the nice weather. If you get nice weather, if it's still frigid cold outside and Mother Nature is slapping you across the face, stay inside. But if you have nice weather, go outside, go do something. Open your windows up, get some fresh air. It's always good for people. Get some vitamin C in you, right? Go have some good food. Enjoy the rest of your day. Come back here on Monday. Today's Monday. Come back here on Wednesday. We will see you then. But with that, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Share with friends. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube, right? Homonatian. Follow me on Rumble at Spin Cycle Live, right? Follow the show on Twitter, now known as X, at Spin Cycle Live, right? Great things coming in the pipeline. If you want to see more of my opinions, keep up with me on Twitter. I post frequently on there, so follow me in there. Any announcement of the show also happen on Twitter, so keep an eye out for that. But with that, I've been Nathan Hale. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And with that, this has been Spin Cycle Live. We'll see you back here on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, same time as usual. See you then. Peace out.